Recording is on.
Hello and welcome to the DXbiz Dev Call from Monday, 30th of May, 2022. On the agenda today, we don't have any new member introductions. Under exploring, we have unstoppable domains and humanity check. And under DXbiz discussions, we have quarterly DAO level checkpoints, and a few things that are in plan, like a virtual retreat that's going to be happening around DevCon. And under DX events, we have ETHCC. The last ticket round is tomorrow, and some planning around the DX hackathon in Bogota. This is sort of the agenda, and I guess we can start with unstoppable domains.
All right.
Yeah, Charlie, you have the mic.
All right, thank you. Well, it's nice to meet everyone. I'm Charlie from Unstoppable Domains. I'm on the business development team. And here to give you all an overview on our NFT domains and a couple of the products that we're interested in getting out there and getting some usage. So I'll go ahead and share my screen if I can here. And I'm sure most of you are familiar with NFT domains. You know, you're probably aware of Unstoppable or maybe ENS. Can you all see my browser now with Twitter up?
Not yet. Sometimes it glitches. You may have to log out and come back.
Gotcha. Let's see.
Give it a try. Yeah.
Okay. Try something else here. Okay, how's that look?
Perfect. We see your Twitter. Yep.
Oh, great. Okay. So first use case for NFT domains is simplifying crypto payments. So I'm sure you've all sent some crypto, in this case, sending some ETH. So the idea was to be able to input NFT domains in the send field so that you have a human readable address when you're sending crypto. So it kind of replaces the need for copy and pasting addresses, makes payments a little more intuitive, a little less scary for people. And it's kind of like Venmo, right? Where you have a Venmo and you can say, hey, send me money to my Venmo name versus a complicated string of characters. So that was the first use case for us. And it's super easy to attach crypto addresses to your domain. I'm going to show you a different tab here. Let's see. Okay. This is, let's see. Okay, so this is our management profile. And you can see here's my PFP. So we have PFP supports. If you have an avatar you like, you can attach it to a domain, just like you can verify some different things like a social handle, Discord, Twitter, if you want to. Humanity check we'll get into a little bit later, but this is essentially proving that I'm a human. And then for attaching crypto addresses, super easy. You're just copy and pasting into these fields. So anytime someone sends crypto to charlieb.nft, it's going to look up and see what crypto addresses are attached to that domain. And you can also host a website on Web3. So with your domain, you can launch a personal page. You can do an NFT gallery. We have some front-end templates we provide. It's pretty cool. And this content is stored on IPFS, and it's a website that you own forever. So with an unstoppable domain, once you buy one, you do own it forever. They start at $5. They go up to a couple $100,000 for some of the more speculative domains. So if I wanted to get like a cars.crypto, that could be pretty expensive. But then for all the trademarks out there, trademark companies, we protect them. So that's one of our differentiators compared to some of the other NFT domains out there, is that once you buy an unstoppable domain, it's yours forever. So if you're a Visa or you're American Airlines or something like that, you reach out to us. We have your domains protected. We try to avoid squatting as much as possible. I think it's a pretty Web 2 issue. We believe in digital property rights, so we protect domains, especially for brands and celebrities, because we don't want people just buying handfuls of domains and then holding people hostage when it really should be theirs. Of course, there's a lot of advantages to having Web3 sites versus being beholden to Web 2 providers like GoDaddy or VeriSign, runs.com. And when they get hacked, you get hacked. So we're kind of moving away from that model with NFT domains. And then, of course, our users are always looking for more functionality for our domains. So let me switch my screen again here one more time. So the most recent use case, or the newest functionality for NFT domains, is called Login with Unstoppable. And Login is our Web3 SSO. And it sits alongside some of the other popular options that we've all seen: MetaMask, Wallet Connect, Coinbase Wallet. Big difference here is that with Login with Unstoppable, users can permission on and off-chain data. So instead of just getting a wallet address, you're going to be able to collect more data from users in a way that's still user controlled. So you can see right here, you're going to input your NFT domain. We are adding a flow to claim a free domain right here. So if you don't already have an NFT domain, you click Get a Domain. It pulls up a search tab. You can input something and it'll suggest some free domains. You claim it right there into your wallet, completely free process. Gas fees are covered by Unstoppable. And then if you want to purchase a shorter, cooler one, you can do that. And there's a revenue share for whoever integrates the widget here. So companies that integrate Login with Unstoppable don't have to pay for this service. They can offer free domains to their users through it, and they can earn revenue if they want to. It's totally customizable. So we input our domain here. The user selects MetaMask or Wallet Connect as a sub-connector. So the same kind of security, you're signing with your private key. And then this is where it gets interesting, in that the dApp can select a bunch of different scopes. And this is where we're going to add all sorts of different fields. So right now we're just seeing domain records and wallet address because that's what the dApp want to request. But now dApps can request things like email address, Twitter handle, humanity check. So these are the scopes that will be customized per dApp depending on what they're looking for. Some dApps might want an email for things like marketing, because if you're just using MetaMask, it's hard to understand who your users are and you can't really contact them one-to-one. So what a lot of dApps do today is they say, hey, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Discord, which is pretty opt-in, right? You have to have followers take those actions. And then if you want to say, hey, there's a bug, we have a bounty, or here's a new feature, you don't really have a one-to-one line of communication. So for the marketing people out there, being able to say, hey, can we please have your email? You know, here's what we're going to do with it. We're going to do a newsletter. We're going to keep you updated. It's pretty powerful versus not really understanding anything and just having a list of wallet addresses. And then the other big use case here for dApps is the ability to run rewards. So Humanity Check is that piece I briefly mentioned. And Humanity Check, let me switch screens one more time here. Humanity Check uses a verification service called Persona. And what it's doing is scanning a government ID. And when the user says yes, they take a picture of the government ID, does a face scan, and then a JSON token is provided to the dApp that says this person has passed the Humanity Check. We know that they're a unique user, unique individual. So now you can reward them with a token, for example. Because if you don't have something verifying that someone's unique, people will abuse the system. We've seen it 1,000 times in crypto. People use hundreds of wallet addresses to act like they're a single person. And so what Humanity Check does is it says, hey, can I see your government ID? It verifies through an image. JSON token is provided to the dApp along with the wallet address, along with the email and the NFT domain. And Unstoppable Domains does not collect this private information, and neither does the dApp. So it's double blind in the eyes of Unstoppable and the dApp. Persona is the company that does the verification, so they do keep the information, but the user can request it's deleted after verification. So, you know, at this point, someone has to store some information when we're doing verification, and we're going to have a layered approach to it, right? Where right now it's Persona, but we're eventually going to have like 10 different verification providers that users can choose from. So not only will they have a bunch of different choices, they can build up a trust score if a DeFi platform wants to have some sort of institutional level product, or maybe they have special rates for high net worth individuals. But either way, the play here is that dApps want to understand a little bit more about their users. They still want users to be able to remain anonymous if they want, but they are looking to collect some more information in a way that's user controlled. So that's kind of how we're thinking about login, is on and off chain data, still completely user controlled, free domain distribution for users, and then verification, which will just unlock all sorts of cool use cases, especially for DAO voting. If you want to say, hey, everyone that's in our DAO can get some tokens or reward You can understand who's individual, who's trying to pretend like they're more than that. And then for creators, it's also a pretty important tool because there's so many fakes and scams out there that we're looking to have this tool added to NFT marketplaces as a way of saying, hey, I've verified myself. I'm still anonymous, but I've verified with a provider that I am a unique individual. And then the last thing I'll mention is that we have a bunch of gaming companies signing up for this process to essentially create NFT domains as their default username system. So if you go to a gaming company and you see a leaderboard and it has a bunch of different wallet addresses as the leaders, it's not quite as cool as having NFT domains where someone's digital identity can be carried with them to different dApps. So data portability is the other big play here for us, where you can attach these different things to your NFT domain and bring them with you from site to site, versus Web 2, where you're really data siloed, right? You sign up for a website, you're giving a new username, new password, new information shared each time. We want to move away from that. We want data to be completely user controlled and permissioned when they want to, which will also mean lower attrition, right? Because you go to a new dApp, they want to say, hey, can you verify you're a human? You can call that data. You've already done the verification once. So each time you go to a new dApp, you can take your data with you. You don't have to sign up each time, which will essentially replace the need for 80 plus usernames and passwords that we're all used to today. So we want NFT domains to be that digital identity moving forward. And a login feature is a big part of that. So I will stop there. I'm not sure how I'm doing on time, but and does anyone have any questions about any of this stuff?
Thanks very much, Charlie. This is really cool. The stuff that comes to my mind immediately, because we are very privacy preserving and mindful of decentralization and robustness of dApps. Like, where would this data be stored? Because you said that people can use it and port the data from dApp to dApp, which is amazing. Something that everybody hates Facebook for not allowing people to do. And I know a dApp called Sysmo that does identity like this, but they use ZK tech to anonymize data that can be stored. Like, where's this stored? Who's in control of this user data?
Sure. So it's up to the dApp, because when they request data, the user is permissioning it. So it's never going to be super private or delicate information. We think for the majority of users, first of all, when you get an NFT domain, you can choose to fill out this profile page that I'm sharing here, which we think the vast majority of new crypto users will be comfortable sharing. Things like their Twitter, things like their Discord, Telegram, because what we're trying to do is cut down on the fakes and the scams and the noise. And these are all things that you can share without actually revealing your actual identity, right? If I share my Discord, my Telegram, obviously my name is a little more public because I have my first and last name in there. But if you're a crypto user, this can be anything, right? So no one actually knows who you are. And that's what the whole purpose of Humanity Check is that you can prove who you are without actually sharing any information. So most of this information is stored on our profile page. And then the private information, like the government ID and whatnot, that's with Persona, because they're a legit verification provider. You can ask them to delete your information after you verify. And then for dApps, it's kind of up to them how they want to store it. And we're building out guidelines for that. But essentially, a dApp is getting a payload for each login that will say, hey, here's the NFT domain, here's the wallet address it's attached to, and here's an email. That'll be the typical flow for probably 75% of the dApps that are using login. And we just crossed 100 integrations last week. So it'll be up to the dApp to say, okay, we're going to store this JSON token, this NFT domain, this wallet address, and this email. And there's all sorts of different storage tools that dApps can lean on for it. But essentially what they can do is build out a CRM tool that is still, in the eyes of the customer, pretty anonymous, where they can say, here's our list of emails, here's when they last signed in. So if you're a DeFi company and you're saying, well, who's signing in the most? Okay, well, let's look at the login payload and see, oh, here are users that sign in, once a week or once a day. Or here are some users that haven't signed in for a month. And maybe we want to send them an email that says, hey, we haven't seen you at, Cook Finance for a couple months. Would love to bring you back. here's a token saying we miss you, or here's a special offer saying we miss you, or some product updates. So the idea is that, yes, data is being shared, but it's being shared in a way that is completely user controlled and permissioned for essentially the first time.
I see. Yeah, I guess my question is more about like Persona, the humanity check service, where like
Sure.
once they verify people with their IDs and face scan, where's that data stored? And like it would be perfectly all right if those people on their own verified themselves, but when that product is being marketed on our DApp to users who are not customers of Humanity Check, and we recommend Humanity Check to them in a way, that may
Sure.
be of a problem if we are not in control of how their data is stored, right? That's kind
Right.
of my concern.
Right. Absolutely. And that's why we wrote into our contract with Persona that users have the right to have their data deleted directly after Humanity Check. There's certainly people sensitive crypto about data storage. And one of the things today is that you can't, like, someone has to do the verification, right? There's no way to have a completely blind Oracle that does government ID verifications. That just doesn't exist yet. So Persona is one of the leaders in the space. So we went with them to start out. And then this will be a marketplace of dozens of providers like Persona until we get to a point where everyone can spin up their own private server. And that's what we're working for. Or working towards, is everyone having their own private server they can call that houses their data, that requires their private key. But we're just not there yet. And certainly if you guys have any ideas about truly decentralized data storage, I would love to know. But at this point, there is no way to not have someone checking verification with government IDs. So that's kind of where we are right now, is that it is Persona. They will delete your information. They have super high data security and storage practices. But yeah, I mean, someone has to do it today.
Another question. We are heavy users of ENS. We're probably, if not one of the few, maybe even the only true decentralized collective owning a DApp and its domain collectively. I mean, the front end. And the way we're allowed to do it is because our system allows us to call smart contract functions once we pass proposals on chain. And we control collectively our front ends by matching the IPFS hash once it's verified to the DAO-owned domain name. And you showed us that you have something similar, but it's probably operated through your user interface and not on a on-chain, like on network level, through smart contract interactions. Is that something that you've been thinking of allowing DAOs to do, or?
Yes, I don't see why not. I mean, we're very similar product to ENS. The big differentiators are that with Unstoppable Domains, you own your domain, you're not renting it. ENS domains are rented. We also cover gas fees for users, and we're a bit more chain agnostic. So we have 10 different extensions. So kind of something for everyone. And from a functionality standpoint, anything that they're doing, we can match if we're not already matching it. So yeah, some differences there, but essentially it's an NFT domain either way, or ERC 721 tokens with the same functionality.
And they've been widely adopted, well, not to the extent we'd like, but although it's not the best service, Cloudflare has supported a gateway to resolve ENS domains with the .link extension. We've recently seen a very ambitious team develop their own decentralized gateway, .limo. Brave Browser has got their DWeb link service to allow users to natively access .eth websites. You're showing us you have this with a plugin, or?
Yeah, exactly. This is native. Opera and Brave browsers are native integrations. and then we have extensions with Chrome and Firefox. So I think you'll find that, essentially all the major integrations they have, we have as well. And we have nothing against ENS. I mean, honestly, I think it's great to have both in the space. We're just a little differently structured, more extensions, a little cheaper, kind of a lower entry price for users. And then the trademark thing is pretty big. I mean, ENS, you have a lot of domain squatting happening. People are snatching up domains, hoping for brands to come to them for payouts. We're kind of trying to avoid that. So, at the end of the day, we think it's very healthy to have multiple providers in the space. So we think that we'll both continue to grow and push each other. And, I think there's definitely room for both, as we're both seeking to onboard billions of people to Web3, right? Because it's pretty technical, crypto in general. So we're trying to make it easier for users to onboard from Web 2. So, nothing bad to say about ENS. And really, I think we'll both be here for the long run, just kind of different options. And I think we're a little friendlier to onboarding users, especially with our free domain flow, because we're about education as well. We want users coming from Web 2. We want an easy platform for them to onboard, to mint domains for essentially no cost, but all the functionalities there as well. And we have a bunch of great integration partners.
Nice. Yeah. I myself own a few unstoppable domains. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Has anyone got any questions or?
Yeah. So I guess you kind of touched on this, like the difference between like unstoppable domains and ENS. And I think, yeah, I guess ENS is sort of decentralized from the get-go. Like all of these things, like what you are building, can be built on top of like ENS as well, right? That makes sense.
ENS, well, let's see. It's basically the same product. We're both NFT domains. We're both ERC-721 tokens. The difference is more around the company structure and the extensions that we offer. So anything you can do with an ENS, you can do with an unstoppable domain, and vice versa. Our sign-in is a little different with the data collection piece. We have some different integrations. We have more extensions. You can see .crypto, .nft, .wallet, .dao. So if you all wanted to do free .daos for all your users, we could enable that with the login flow. And this isn't public yet, but we're going to have a different extension that's the free one. And then if people want to purchase .dao, they'll be able to. But for DXDAO, if you all are interested, we'd be able to get a free .dao for all of your users. And we also do a ton of co-marketing. So if you want to say, hey, we're going to do this co-marketing plan, we're going to give out $100 in free credits to a bunch of users, and then we're going to give out free .daos via login. We'd love that because we want to get domains out there as much as possible, especially with DAOs. Obviously, .dao is a great fit. So there's a lot we can do to work together, and we've got a pretty nice following on Twitter and our email subscribers and great podcast. We're a fun company to work with, and we've got a team of 150 people now working on digital identity. And it's just been awesome seeing some really strong talent come from Web 2 over the past 6 to 8 months. So our roadmap is super exciting and just absolutely feature packed.
Yeah, super cool. I mean, this is interesting. I guess this is I'm just I got myself muted for somehow. So I'm being direct, but it's kind of like a more centralized version of ENS. But because of that, then there's a lot more that can be done, like more integrations, more collaborations, and yeah, basically like better user experience. Because yes, setting registries for ENS is kind of like an annoying process, and the UI and UX that you guys are offering is like way better.
We can move a little faster because we're structured like a typical tech company. And then the centralization versus decentralization, I mean, the product is the exact same. You're minting a domain onto the blockchain. Unstoppable domains cannot touch it once it's minted. And we provide management tools, but it's still a decentralized product. It's more just the company structure is centralized in that we're structured like a regular tech company with VC investors and everything. So we think it helps us kind of move faster and try out different things. And
is there any thoughts of decentralizing? Because
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're every day we're like, how can we make this product more decentralized? And that's part of the idea behind private servers. Like that to us is like the holy grail of decentralization, is like, how can we have data stored on individual servers for users so that no one has to give request permission anymore. So we're trying to bridge that gap, and it'll take some time. But certainly everything we're building towards is thinking in ways of decentralization, data portability, digital property rights. Yeah, absolutely. That's at our core.
Yeah, I mean, my point is that there's the ENS token, and I know of a few people who have discussed essentially making a proposal in the ENS DAO, basically to distribute some of the revenue generated by selling ENS domains to ENS token holders. So essentially, like, the value capture of this entire thing is owned by ENS token holders. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, being like US and doxed, it's a bit more difficult. But I don't know, is this something that you're looking at in the future?
A token, I mean, it's interesting. I wouldn't say it's on our roadmap, and certainly we get requests for it, but the requests for it are from a revenue standpoint. And we're more about digital identity for individuals and for companies owning their property rights versus, a lot of ENS buyers are buying domains to squat on them. And that's pretty unfortunate for Web3. So that's a big differentiator. And really, when you issue a token, it becomes a security, especially in the US. So
Yeah.
it's hard to operate when you're issuing a security. And we're a tech company at our core, so we want to keep building products that enable the functionality of NFT domains. And so doing a token just kind of takes the focus off of building, and kind of, it's just not, we're just different companies, and certainly we're VC backed and we want to be profitable. But if you look at our business model, it is much friendlier to users than an ENS domain. I mean, gas fees alone are pretty prohibitive for ENS. And again, you're renting an ENS, you are not buying it. So, a lot of people are renting ENS domains that, it costs them money every month. So we're kind of in it for the more of the little guy and the non-crypto user, so that we can get much broader and take NFT domains to the world. Versus ENS is, certainly a little more narrow in that fact, where it's a little more for the crypto native. So we think the world kind of needs both, and we're just not ENS, and ENS is not us, but the products are super similar.
Yeah, with all being said, Charlie, I really like unstoppable domains. I like the experience I've had purchasing my domains. It's been pretty flawless, and I enjoyed it as a customer. I know it's not like decentralized completely from the get-go, and that's hard to achieve, but I do see a possibility for us to cooperate. We have a novel product for programmable incentives that can help you run very efficient campaigns and drive user engagement, attract new users. And I think that there's a room for us to do a lot together.
Yeah, I think so. And there's certainly a lot of different ways we can work together. So if you all want to test out the product here or there, or just do a free domain credit drop and kind of see how the community engages, we're happy to test things out. Certainly a lot of different creative ways we can work together, and certainly drive our users to DXDAO and do some education there. So I think if you look on our Twitter and whatnot, you'll see we engage a lot with all sorts of different partners, because for us, it is really about onboarding users to Web3. So, we work with all sorts of different companies, because we're kind of all in it together, right? If we want to really make the migration happen from Web2, it's going to be a team effort. So yeah, we're kind of that ID layer on top that helps us work with different companies and provide value in different ways. I will mention just on the user controlled data thing, we're also envisioning a world where users are getting paid for their data, right? If you think about Brave browser, you can earn BAT rewards by using Brave browser. And the play here for us is that we want users to get paid for their data. And it starts with data permissioning, but think about eventually cutting out big tech like Facebook and Google and letting brands serve ads directly to end users. And so for most of the population that is just kind of browsing the internet, clicking on ads, why not help them get paid directly for their information that they're willing to share that's already out there on the web? So longer term, that's another interesting play with NFT domains, with data permissioning, is saying, well, why am I going to give Google my information when they're going to harvest it and sell it, and then their centralized servers get hacked, versus users permissioning it in a way that's still user controlled with brands that they approve of. So that's kind of much longer term, but another way that we're kind of thinking about how can we leverage NFT domains and digital identity to make the internet better. And if users are already willing to share their data or know that it's being harvested and sold today, might as well make it a path towards them earning it, earning that revenue directly. So, just another play involved here. But also, the last thing I'll mention is just that with NFT domains and verification, it can still be double blind, and we're working towards solutions better than Persona. But I'm picturing a world where you go to Amazon and the reviews you see are verified because the users have NFT domains, or you're on Twitter and the tweets are verified. So we're avoiding the kind of noise and really the bullshit that's happened over the last few years, where people are leveraging bots and fake information to move elections and to sell products that are not legitimate. And it all comes down to digital identity. So, just some other things to think about when you think about NFT domains at their core.
Yeah. So that's, super cool. Do we have a group? Like usually sort of like the next step forward is we open a Telegram group with some of the folks from DXDAO and I guess you guys, and would love to figure out, maybe we can do like an unstoppable domain drop.
That'd be really cool. And of course, if you guys want to set up another more technical call to like really dive into data storage and everything, I'd be happy to bring on our CTO who built the product, because he's certainly aligned with you in the idea of true decentralization. So if there are any kind of lingering questions about that, you all could share those in the Telegram, or we could set up another call and just kind of want to make sure that you have the complete picture about how Unstoppable Domains is building.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love this. Thank you. It kind of like speaks volumes to hear you say this after this conversation instead of just brushing it off and forgetting about it.
Oh, yeah.
I love this. And we could definitely be a design partner for Unstoppable Domains, because we are trying to push the envelope in the space towards decentralization. It's been hard, but we don't give up. And if we could help you in your decision making to improve your product, that would be fantastic.
Oh yeah, we'd absolutely love that, and we're constantly surveying the developers who have integrated login thus far. So that'd be fantastic, because certainly all ideas are welcome. I think we're pretty aligned on how we want the end user experience to be. Nice.
And I already have some interesting ideas with third-party partners of ours that you could integrate in your product.
Cool. And I'll mention on that front, we do have some cash grants to kind of help with integration for some of the smaller projects out there. So we can also help write pull requests, and we have all sorts of tools to help with integrations and get partners up and running, and also get them some exposure, right? Because we want to bring exposure to those smaller projects out there.
Amazing. Okay. We can wrap it up here. You could stay for the rest of the call, or if you busy, you could tend to your other business. But you're more than welcome to stay. We'll continue with the rest of our BizDev call.
Cool. Thanks. Guys. I'll listen for a little bit. I'll just be a silent participant, but really appreciate your time. Great chatting with you guys, and please keep the questions coming. We'll set up the Telegram chat. Anything you can think of, concerns, whatever, please send them my way. But appreciate you guys letting me chat here with you all.
Lovely. Cheers.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Charlie.
Cool.
So on to sort of like the next point, quarterly or biannual checkpoints. I think this is something we also discussed in Lisbon. And happy to have anyone chime in here. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's something that has come up several times over the past few weeks, and I feel like it's worth going over it. We have made a tremendous effort towards aligning the community, because we are a true global decentralized community, and it's not easy to organize ourselves, have everybody on the same page, and have everybody aligned on the same goals. So we've made an effort last year. Towards the end, we had an amazing retreat in Lisbon, team building with a lot of hard but very interesting and fruitful questions being asked and answered that helped us tremendously in envisioning and preparing our roadmap for 2022. We're on track to have our next retreat towards the end of this year, but I've had a few core contributors mention it to me. I've been thinking about it myself. We've been having a few discussions, and I think I should bring it to the entire DAO. What if we did kind of like virtual retreats on a quarterly or a biannual DAO level, kind of like set aside a couple of days, 1 week every quarter to do heads up, like, everybody is heads down, working hard, day in, day out. We're in different squads, and we kind of like going with the flow, and we're in this momentum, and it's not easy to keep up with what's happening on a DAO level. So I wonder, instead of waiting once a year to do an in-person retreat that still several contributors may not be able to attend, what if we did these checkpoints once a quarter, or if that's too much, maybe twice a year, biannually, to reserve a couple of days in 1 week. Everybody's heads up, not working on anything specific, and we're just having longer conversations to catch up and plan ahead, and kind of like avoid asking each other sporadically, oh, what's happening with that squad, or what's happening with this squad? When did the DAO agree to do this? Like, did we pass a signal vote on chain? Who decided that we should be doing this? And so on and so forth. So I wonder what you guys think.
So yeah, go, Molly.
I was just going to say, I really like the idea of this. I've been kind of banging my head against the wall trying to figure out how I can kind of connect all of like the new contributors to the existing contributors at DXDAO. And I think, more frequent virtual retreats is a good idea, because we can figure out a way to, have people, okay, yeah, time zone problems for sure, to have people come together, even if we just designated like one of our daily meeting calls, to get people acquainted with one another and to connect a little bit. I do also like the idea of more like in real life retreats as well, now that everything's kind of opened up. But I do like this idea and would love to figure out a way to figure out how to make this happen. And sorry, Nylon, you can go.
Yeah, so I also agree, and I think like we've mentioned this, kind of like this was floated a few times with like whatever, like OKRs and stuff like that. I would say that we should probably, like, I don't know, a good way to start with this, a low-hanging fruit, is to take the same week that we have, right, with the different calls in each day, and then instead of like doing updates, just have the teams essentially present their plan for the next quarter or the next 6 months. And this is the plan, this is the goals that we were trying to achieve for the next 6 or 3 months. And yeah, like I think this could be very good. And I mean, the whole point of like OKRs is to like solidify these plans with measurable actions. But I mean, maybe that's like a step too far. And to start with, we could start, I don't know, maybe the first week of June. Oh, I guess that's next week. Or I don't know, the first week of one of the following months, to basically start with. It's not like an update call. It's just like, okay, this is the plan. Like, and each squad leaders or each squads will basically present 30-minute presentation, and then 30 minutes followed by questions from the rest of the team. I think that will help align like everything that's happening. So yeah, and then I don't know, IRL meetup for sure. I mean, that's kind of what we did in Lisbon, but yeah. So I don't know how are people feeling about this, but I think this is a great idea.
Yeah, and I feel like we should be more relaxed about it. I personally do not like, focusing too much on specifics in terms of OKRs, because there's this anecdote. Someone asked the centipede, how do you keep up putting one foot in front of the other in a exact order so that you don't trip? And when it thought about it, it started tripping. So it's like, we are going well. We don't need to be asking ourselves too many questions, or else we're going to start tripping, right? So I don't want us to be put off by thinking about this in terms of, oh, we're going to be thinking in terms of numbers and stuff. We are very diligent with our numbers, very open and transparent, and keeping track of everything, doing quarterly reports and all that. It's not like it's the first time we're going to be doing this. The reason for these meetings is more on a social level, kind of like, the overall alignment with where we're headed as a team, as a collective, because we are, again, I'm going to say this, it's hard to grasp it. We are a true global decentralized collective. We're a bunch of people from all over the world that, if this is the future of organizations, we are at the forefront of innovation, and I think we are doing well. So not to put too much pressure on ourselves, just go lightly about it.
Yeah, so like I agree. I think, I personally try to do like or push OKRs, and I don't think maybe this is the right fit, but just goals. I don't know, like the DXbiz squad could use a week of simply planning like what are our goals for the next quarter, the next 6 months, and yeah, maybe see like each one of the squads, each one of the teams could also present. Ross is saying different format. Yeah, you want to expand, Ross?
Yeah, I just mean like, if we do this, it's kind of lost. Like the way we do it currently, I guess it's like a forum post and a recording, but it's not very discoverable for the most part.
I mean, ideally we
Like
can make this into like videos that we can share. Like, I don't know if this will make it easier to sort of digest like after.
Yeah, maybe. I don't even know if it has to be like one big thing. I wonder if it should just be something that we do more frequently. Of having some like just goals written down, or I don't really know the best way of doing it. Kind of highlighting a problem without a solution, but
yeah. I think Dave is saying we're going corporate. I don't think. I mean, I feel like a lot of times, like crypto people, we're like, it's everything Web 2 is bad, but I don't think that's not everything in Web 2 is like completely shit, right? Many things are, but we can take some of the stuff and use them. I don't know, like squads and stuff like that. This is still stuff that exists in Web 2, and then we're also kind of like employing them on DXDAO. It's just, I think these things will help align, like what are the people doing, who are you working with, who's focusing on what are their goals. So
Yeah. If I could use an analogy, it would be like driving a car and turning on the high beam, right? If we're on low beam, we are just turning the high beam and seeing further ahead. And it may be so that we're not changing anything. Maybe we're on the right track. Everything is perfect. We don't need to necessarily think of something revolutionary and change the way we're going. I think, as I said a couple of times, we're going well. It's just turning the high beam and seeing like a few months ahead and asking ourselves the question, like, by what we're doing today, where would we be in 2, 3, 4, 5 months ahead? And if we all agree with where we headed, then we just keep it as it is. But just seeing it and like visualizing it instead of just going with the momentum, you know.
Yeah, I agree, Ross. It's like a difficult, and I think we tried or we thought about using several tools like Sobol, and I think people try to like create like sort of org charts of who's doing what. But yeah, definitely need some I don't know, operational organization, operational thoughts on how to map and communicate what the different teams in DXDAO are doing.
I think what Keenan in DXvoice has done, right, like with his posts, is like a really good example. And we probably just should be doing that across the squads. And that's, we can even use existing calls to kind of give time to discuss it too. But then, like, a nice post somewhere that just highlights the goals and like happenings and like, expenditures of a squad so that the whole community can review. Yeah, I mean, that sort of seems like common sense, I think.
Yeah, I think, I mean, this it's perfect for DXvoice because a lot of the expenses is sort of external. But yeah, like definitely like things to to sort of use from what they've done. And then I don't know, maybe there should be a week of just simply the squads focusing on what is their plan, and instead of like instead of like this entire call divided half to like someone presenting and then another half discussing like internal stuff, maybe the entire call should be like what should the squad be doing, what should we focus on, what's the high level goals for the next 3 to 6 months, maybe just that. Yeah, I guess, I mean, I'm not really able to join like the product strategy, but yeah, I guess this is also for the other squads, not just the products, but yeah. So Nathan, maybe we can sync on this offline, and then we can even make a signal proposal. Okay, whatever. 1st of August to like that week. It's just sort of like a meta discussion on the goals of the call, the squad, etc.
Yeah.
So okay, we can sync on this offline. So moving on to the next topic, I think like a big thing is like ETHCC. The last ticket sale is happening. I don't think we have many tickets as of now. So
yeah. I've seen Dave put a lot of effort try and help everyone secure tickets tomorrow. John shared a great feedback from what he experienced last time he tried. I think we have an edge. We could probably not guarantee that we could succeed, but improve our odds, because it's been really difficult. I don't know why they made it like that, but yeah, it's kind of like almost a make it or break it moment for us, whether we are officially attending as a collective or is just a couple of us being there, because we've been used to having a few of us attend and creating this presence that other organizations feel like with this element. And yeah, it would be nice to have this in Paris, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, who's planning on going? Yeah, I guess some people are just going to be there. I think last year, I mean, there were good lectures, but yeah, many of it was just like a lot of people chatting outside, and I gave my ticket like several times to people who wanted to come in. So yeah, I think it was easier to get tickets. So yeah, do we want to talk about Bogota and the ETHCC?
Yeah, I think I forgot who it was. Someone mentioned that they believe we should have a proper marketing plan. I think it's more of a conversation to have tomorrow on the DXvoice call, but someone raised the concern that it's a big operation that would require a lot of marketing well in advance, so we make sure it is successful. There is a risk. I know we're organizing it around DevCon, and there'll be a lot of people there already for it, so it kind of like helps us already a lot. But someone raised the concern that there's still a chance that we may have a problem with attracting enough people so that the event is a success, because we will, after all, be investing a lot in this, and we have to make sure it goes smooth. Sometimes that requires a lot of early preparation, and I myself didn't think of this, but I think it is a valid concern. When and how do we start popularizing this event? I think we are early enough yet. We still have to hear back from the company that is helping us with the exploration on venues and what it's going to cost for us to kind of like make the final decision. Yes, we're doing this. But once we're at that stage, we should pretty much be ready with a plan to start popularizing the event as well, so that we make sure when the time comes, people show up and we make it a success. So yeah, I'll bring it up tomorrow as well. But if anyone has anything to add, yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess because the last topic is for DX Ventures, just looking for, I guess, tools that we could use in DXDAO. And yeah, I don't know if I think this is a good time. Like a lot of the noise, it's kind of like a bear market vibes, right? But a lot of the noise is going to be clear. It's the best time to build, and then it's only the real projects who are actually trying to build that are going to remain, which is like, I think it's fairly compelling.
Yeah, we do have 3 startups that are actively engaging with us, trying to figure out how to approach this. We're not just some VCs throwing money at startups. We care about what they're building. It has to be DAO centric. It has to have a focus on decentralization, and it has to be a solution that we ourselves see ourselves utilizing. So it's not an easy process. That's why we've not seen much of a I don't know what to call it, turnover, like many companies being kind of like approved and receiving grants from DX Ventures and DXDAO, and we're not in a rush to do it. But if anyone comes across, and some of you have sent us some leads, but if anyone hears of or has used any novel application lately, feel free to send us some info. Yeah.
Awesome. And yeah, I think that's kind of it. I guess we can stop the recording.
Yeah,
And-
I just see it. So we're right at the top of the hour. Perfect timing.